Hello, my beautiful friends. This is Crystal Rose Insights. I hope you're having a wonderful day, and I'm really excited to be here with you tonight because I felt really called to do a reading because there's been so much coming up in the energies right now leading up to this 12/12 portal that I thought it would be really, really interesting and helpful to be able to get some insights into what is going to come with this particular 12/12 portal. It's a very important time in the ascension process and the raising of the energy and the vibration of the earth and of consciousness. And those of you on the twin flame journey, if you've been around it for any length of time, already have an understanding how much of an important role you play in this process. So I wanted to do a specific spread for how twins and anybody who's interested in bringing in more happiness and love and gratitude into their life, what we can really focus on while the energies are harmonious with that process coming up here. So the 12/12 portal starts here just in, today is the December 9th, so it's starting in just a few days, but anytime you see this video, I always believe that that's when the messages are intended to come through. There's no time specificity as to when messages can come to you. So these are general readings, so take what resonates with you and discard the rest as always. But it is my intention that everyone who spends time with me here watching these videos, that you get that you walk away with at least one really important message that really resonates with you. So the 12/12 portal starts on December 12th and extends through December 21st. And what's very important about this particular opportunity energetically is that this is a time for releasing the things that no longer serve us. That's everything from thoughts to behaviors to old limiting beliefs to patterns that we've had that keep us down, that keep us held back from our true potential here in this incarnation and as souls. So I have here to help us, as I do with all my readings, I have this crystal quartz cluster that I love. I feel like so much, to me this feels a lot like twins because of the two with the divine flame in between. And I don't know, this particular stone just wanted to be part of the reading today. So it's going to accompany us here and help us give some clarity and connection to the transformation that's going to be happening. So without further ado, we're going to share, this is going to be energy specific for the divine masculine at first. I may do it all in one reading, depends how long it goes. So I'm also going to do one for the divine feminine specifically, but we'll see if we can get it all done in one reading without it being too long. But if I might have to break it up, so I apologize in advance if I need to do that. But I'd like to call in my archangels and higher self and guides and all the ascended masters, all the light beings here to support the twin journey. Please help there be clear messages and clarity for anyone who's watching this. And I'm using the Angel Tarot deck by Doreen Virtue and Radley Valentine. So we're going to pull some cards starting out. We're going to start off with the divine masculine. So these are going to be cards that are going to really help focus in on what opportunities the divine masculine has going into this portal for ascension. And right away, you guys just flipped out the 10 of water. Okay, 10 of water, ultimate happiness. So this is a huge opportunity the divine masculine has to really take these energies and transform, whether it be on a conscious level if you're a masculine watching this, or even if it's an unconscious opportunity. The 10 of water, which is a happy family, a rewarding family, emotional and material needs being met. So that message wanted to jump right out. So, gosh, I think that's a loud message for what's possible, because that card jumped out as I was asking that question, or at least stating that question. So I'm going to leave that one right there. Actually, I'm going to put it back in the deck, but I want you to remember that what's possible for the divine masculine with this portal is to have the 10 of cups, ultimate happiness. Okay. Well, okay, thank you for that. That was pretty clear. So we're going to pull 7 cards. 7 cards, please, for the divine masculine, to find out how to maximize this portal starting here in a few days. Okay, so this is the overall energy for the Divine Masculine, and we get the Balance card. So this is a major arcana. The second is, what is his challenge coming into this portal, which is the Knight of Earth. Okay. What does he need to release during this portal? And again, another major arcana. Oh my God, and we get the release card. That's crazy. Oh my gosh. Well, hello. Okay, I'm going to get into each of these in a second. I'm going to pull the cards first, but okay, I hear you. Wow. The next is, what is the advice for the Divine Masculine to get through his challenge? Is the Nine of Water. The next is, how can the Divine Feminine best support the Divine Masculine? And another major arcana, the Justice card. Wow. Lots of clear, very strong energies coming through. And the next card is, what's possible for the union should he heed the advice given, which is the King of Air. And lastly, what does he want the Divine Feminine to know going into this portal? What does he want her to understand? And another major arcana card of the Renewal card. Wow. Okay. And underneath the deck, just to make a quick note, is the Four of Air. This is a card of needing to take a rest and a vacation. Allow some time before making a decision. This is all about thinking and clarity and truth, but it's really about being all in your head. And this is about also needing to meditate. So that's exactly what's happening. We've got the portal. We've got Mercury retrograde. It's really a time for pause and reflection. And this card beautifully states that. Okay, so we have the Four of Air as the overall energy. Now, the overall energy for the Divine Masculine for the month is the Balance card. So the Balance is typically what is the Temperance card in traditional tarot. So this is also very much a twin flame card, I believe. I feel like a lot of the balancing and the work between balancing masculine and feminine energies, even within ourselves, is really important. So this is about moderation, cooperation, and compromise, and waiting for perfect timing. So this is about patience. Okay, so the overall energy is the Divine Masculine coming into this portal is in a state where he's not rushing forward necessarily, but he's feeling like he's got to have some, he's exhibiting patience with his own either frustrations or things he's wanting to accomplish. And obviously paired with this here, with the Four of Air, he probably needs a little break. Okay, I think there's been a lot going on with the Divine Masculine to where he's worn himself out, he's stretched himself too thin. So this is reminding him that his overall energy needs to be balanced. He's been a little too in one direction. So, and it's the 1 and the 4, which adds up to a 5, which is about being in a place where there's some integration of some challenges that will ultimately lead to phenomenal blessings, but they may not feel that great going through them. But the 1 and the 4 is about a new beginning, and the 4 being about stability. So, you know, and he's here. I don't know if you can see it in the card, but he's got 2 goblets that he's pouring water back and forth between. And so water obviously symbolizes emotions. And it's like he's looking forward, wanting to balance his emotions as well. So this is an overall energy for him coming into the portal. Now, what's his current challenge? What's his biggest challenge here for the portal, which is the Knight of Earth? So this is about buckling down and getting things done, honoring commitments. This is about being kind, also being really looking towards your guardian angels to support you. And I think that he's probably feeling like, because the Earth is very grounded and very practical. And this is a time for him, especially if he's in a time of reflection, which is a major arcana, that he might not know how to connect to his divinity and to his intuition. So when I see this in this position for him in this spread, I feel like, you know, he's got the earthly plane figured out. And now it's time for, you see there's this beautiful sort of magical energy swirling around him. And it's almost like, okay, you have all this earth abundance, and all this beauty and all this groundedness, but there's all this magic here waiting for you. So I feel like that's the message coming through for the challenge for this portal. The challenge for the Divine Masculine is going to be really connecting to his intuition and his higher self and his higher power on a more conscious level. So that's pretty clear as well. So what is he meant to release? And he gets the release card. And this is signaling the end of a phase and a situation, spiritual transformation, time to move on. Now this is the equivalent of the Tower card. So this is about releasing and making, I'm sorry, not the Tower. I apologize. This is why I do double check in my book, because I have so many decks, and when they do an interpretation of the tarot, I just want to double check. So this is not actually the Tower card. That didn't feel right when I said it, but I did look at it. It's actually the Death card. So the Death is about the transformation. The Death is about releasing things, moving on to a new self. This is about the end of a phase. And it's funny because in both cards here, he's out in nature. And what's interesting is I don't know why I have this parallel image coming through, but here he is in nature as a man, okay? And here he is in nature as a spiritual being, as an angel with his angel wings, being a spiritual entity. And so this is the challenge, and this is what he needs to do, is he needs to release and transform to where he realizes he is the embodiment of the Divine Masculine and divine love, and what he's here to do is really share that energy with the planet. And so what does he need to release right now is this earthly plane in terms of just focusing on the earth. This is also reminding him to focus on the upper chakras. I think a lot of times, I know the Divine Feminines tend to rule the upper chakras, the Divine Masculines tend to rule the lower chakras, and ultimately this is about him connecting all of them together to realize he is a full spiritual being. So that's pretty, I love that came out for that position. So the advice of the Divine Masculine here is the Nine of Water. Okay, so the Nine of Water is about, it's the wish card. It's a beautiful, beautiful card to get in the deck, which is wishes coming true, concerns fading away, having a love of life. And so the advice for the Divine Masculine, I feel from this card is, here's this mermaid in the water, and she's got all these abundant cups underneath the water's surface, which is where her emotions are, and she's still got a little bit above water. Her head's still in the air, which is in the thinking mode. So the majority of her, this is like an iceberg, right? The iceberg, 1/10 of it is above the water and 9/10 of it is below. And what's below is the peace and the calm and the tranquility of being connected to his emotions. So the advice here is to keep on the journey he's been on, to be reminded that it's all here for him. And that's all here for him once he releases. Once he transforms, goes through the transformation process. And and I noticed here again, this is a 13, which adds up to a 4, all about stability, new beginnings, and 3 is about communication. And the communication, I feel like, for him to release is his block to communicating with his higher self on a conscious level. Oh my gosh. Okay. So how can the Divine Feminine, there's so many major arcanas here. I feel like I'm kind of just scratching the surface, but what can the Divine Feminine do to support her Divine Masculine? And that's the Justice card, which is standing up for your beliefs. So the Justice card is also a card of fairness, and also can be, I see this as the twins right here, the columns. And it's also often a card of marriage, because it can imply the legal system, and the 8 being the number for abundance, but also the sign for the twin flames. So what she can do to support, to best support him is remind him that she's here to support him. Remind him that he's not alone. Remind him that believing in the union and believing in the dynamic that he may be starting to really have a conscious awareness of is the specialness of the relationship. So he's here to remind him that she's his partner in this and that he's not by himself and that she totally understands this. And I know a lot of the divine masculines have been in a situation where they're facing, you know, getting rid of the constraints of society, getting rid of the conventional beliefs. So she's here to help him remember when he's going through a tough time, maybe facing people not understanding what he's going through or trying to tell him that he should do a certain thing or date a certain type of person or marry a certain type of person or live in a certain type of city, whatever that may be, that she's here to remind him to stick to what he believes in, because that's ultimately what his journey is to do that, so that they can come into union. Because she's also reminding her, she's been doing that, but I feel like that theme has come up so much for the divine masculine recently, and it's something that, yeah, I'm just getting kind of lost in the image here for a second. So we have the balance here also, just like we do in the balance card. So see how he's balancing the scales, balance, balance. That's a huge theme coming through as well. But he's also a spiritual being lifted up off the earth. Okay, so he's ascending, he's looking down at the earth, being grounded in the reality, but also holding a sword of truth for clarity as well. Okay, so what's possible with the union? And that is the King of Air. And this is about conquering and leading based on experience and strategy. So what's possible for the union is to speak his mind with confidence. So it's funny because this is the advice for how she can support him, which is stand up for your beliefs. And here it is, speak your mind with confidence. So what's possible is that as he goes through this transition, he may gain more confidence to really be able to speak what matters to him and to speak it to himself, to his divine feminine, whether it be in the 3D or the 5D. But I think that's a really important message in terms of what's possible with the union. Should he follow the advice, which is to remember he's kind of close to there and he's getting his wishes. I'm going to just check one more thing here before I move on to the next card. And so, yeah, I think, so this is also, because the kings are about, like I said, they demonstrate a lot of leadership, but they also need to understand that when he's gone through this journey and he's going to come out the other side, having his wishes, having everything that he's wanting, that others are going to benefit from his experience. And that is the twin journey, is it not? You know, the twins are here to set examples and not impact just what they're experiencing in their own lives, but really to impact the communities around them. You know, you get the two twins that get together and people can feel the spark, they can feel the dynamic and the energy, and that's very healing for people. And, you know, so he may be somebody that people turn to later for advice, but he's moving forward with confidence in his mission and his wisdom, and I'm also being drawn to here, there's a mushroom here, which also indicates good fortune, and his abundance is basically on its way. So I love that. Okay, so what does he want the divine feminine to know? And that is the Renewal Card. Okay, so that is the Renewal Card, which is the equivalent of the 20 is the the 20 is the Tower, which is I think what I was saying before. It's funny when I do these readings, my brain gets a little fuzzy sometimes, so that's why I like to just double check, just to make sure if I ever just want to clarify. So the 20 card, no, it's the Judgment card, which is the marriage card. Judgment, coming to the highest calling, and one of the questions around this Judgment card, because it's a 2 card, which is about partnership, which is how can, if there was no chance of rejection, what action would I take? Okay. And so here's this man and this woman and this child looking at Archangel Jeremiah, and he's got the light of the crown chakra. Okay, so it's the spirituality of the union, and there's a lot of yellow here, which indicates happiness and joy. Also solar plexus chakra, which is about creativity and creation, because when twins come together, that one of the things they do is create. There's a lot of magic that can happen when they're together with the two of them. So he wants the divine feminine to know that this is what he is seeing and why he's going through this exact process. And again, it's a major arcana card. And he wants her to know that he's ready to move in a new direction. He's ready to embark on this spiritual journey. Because guys, look at the one out of the 7 cards, 4 of them are major arcana cards. And if you also remember, the 10 of water jumped out at the beginning, which is about ultimate happiness. So I'm feeling like the very clear message here about the divine masculine coming into this portal is that he's got some really big stuff. Really big opportunities to make some major shifts. And when the messages come through for balance, for release, for justice and renewal, I don't know if it can get really any clearer than that, to be honest. So, wow, I love that. Okay. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to keep going on this video and hope that it can upload just fine. So I'm going to now do the same actually, I'm going to do that separately. I'm going to pull some more clarifiers for the divine masculine. Let's do that. Let's get a little bit more in depth here. I feel like there's some more messages that want to come through before jumping to the divine feminine. As I was moving to the divine feminine, I was like, oh, I can get it all in one video. But you know what? There's more to be said here, and there's more to bring forth, because these messages are so dense with a lot of energy. I want to make sure we get some really good clarifying messages. So I'm gonna pull I'm gonna pull 3 romance angel cards now, and these cards are going to be messages about how the divine masculine is currently seeing his divine feminine, as coming into this portal time, how he's thinking about their union, their relationship, whether they're in physical union or not. But what is he specifically feeling towards his feminine? Obviously, we see this renewal card here, but let's get a few more clarifying messages, please, of how the divine, 3 cards, please, for how the divine masculine is currently viewing his divine relationship with his divine feminine. 3 cards, please. Nothing's really jumping out, so I'm going to pull some. These cards sometimes have a personality, and once in a while they're really talkative, and other times they're just like, yeah, I'm chilling out. Okay, 3 cards, please. First card is true love. Wow, okay. He sees his divine feminine, true love. Religious factors. An attraction. And at the bottom, which I wasn't even going to look at, but I just happened to see it, was new love. So this relationship with his divine feminine is truly a new love in his life, in terms of he's never been in a dynamic like this before. So how he's seeing his divine feminine, true love, the romance of a lifetime. She's leaning back into him. What's funny here is he's the king of air is what's possible, and here he is. He looks like he's a king or a knight, but definitely a regal character, holding his divine feminine as she leans back into him, into his strength. Because as he's been through the battles and he's been through all of his experiences and he's come out the king, she can sit back and really feel secure with him. And the Cupid's obviously there right behind them as well, so I love that. Religious factors, love life being influenced by your religious upbringing and spiritual path. So it's possible that the concept of twin flame love or religion or just even spiritual beliefs are a factor. And I think this is interesting because one of these other cards we talked about had to do with spiritual beliefs and breaking free from constraints. So some of the divine masculines may be feeling like there's some sort of, they're shifting into a new spirituality. Remember, if they're releasing and they're connecting, here with this card, they're connecting to their divinity. They're releasing more of the earthling, getting more into their spirituality. So I also take this to mean that by embracing his spirituality and factors in his spiritual path, that this will bring them together, as well as the attraction. I mean, there's a definite, it's a chemistry and attraction with the twins beyond just the physical chemistry. And look at this card too. It's really beautiful. It's a very young, innocent, pure love, and she's just enraptured, smelling a beautiful rose, which the vibration of a rose is the highest vibration of unconditional love. So he sees her as his true love. I think he's working on his spirituality and understanding he needs to work on it and release and connect, so that he can then, and the attraction is there. So those are 3 messages for the divine masculine, how he feels about his divine feminine right now. What I'd love to pull too is, this is a question I always is, let's talk about what he's actually experiencing in the 3-dimensional conscious level. Okay. So, cause I know a lot of us, we know on an energetic level, the dynamic and everything, but I think one of the questions people always have is, what is he aware of? Like, is he aware of this in his conscious mind in some capacity? So what I'd like to pull is, I'd like to pull 3 cards on the conscious mind of the divine masculine right now, coming into the portal energies. Like, what is he currently thinking about, consciously, about his divine feminine? What are the 3 messages, please, of what is he aware of in the conscious world, conscious mind, relating to his divine feminine? On Major Arcana, we get the Teach card, number 5. Simply love and just breathe. Okay. So, again, Major Arcana energies coming through with the Teach card, the 5 card, which is kind of about being in balance, and it's the 5 is, this is about spiritual teacher. So this is a very spiritual card. So there's this woman here who is teaching in front of a group of younger children. She's holding a rose in her hand. She's got a dog here. So she's teaching, she's enlightened from up above and behind. So she's teaching everybody really what she's learned in her spiritual journey. And I feel like, so when we're talking about how the divine masculine is seeing his divine feminine in the conscious level, so this is, again, it's also the Hierophant card, which is very holy, very sacred. The Hierophant can also be a card of marriage, but he's seeing the divine feminine consciously as someone that other people look up to. She's very accomplished. She's done a lot in her life. I think he's very, he sees her living in her truth and in her passion and her mission, and he admires this about her. So in the conscious level, he may not realize she's his divine feminine consciously. However, he does see her in a very powerful, very spiritual light, someone who's very grounded, very centered, and very happy, with the yellow light illuminating her from behind, and very peaceful and very loving and very loyal, because she's got a dog here. So the dog is always about loyalty. So next, the way he sees her too is simply love. And the 6 is a victory card, and the green is about the heart chakra, healing energy. And it's pretty straightforward, is it not? I mean, it's simply love. It's about he sees her as the potential and as somebody that he could really share love with. So it feels like, for those of you guys that are watching, a lot of you are likely in a situation where you've met your twin, or you've met who you think is your twin. And when it's coming out in this way, to me, it feels like, yeah, he sees the potential for love with you, you know, whether you're in separation or union or not, but he sees that. He sees it on a conscious level. He sees the potential for that, and he admires you very much. And lastly, he's saying, just breathe. So this is the card of stability. And here's this woman who is aligning with her higher self. You know, this being, she's looking in the mirror and she's got the support. So I think he sees her as somebody who has really a lot of balance. I think he sees her as somebody who isn't all over the place, and they're very centered and they're very connected, and they're on this journey to live connected to their higher selves. So let me see what else here. What am I looking for? So the 4 here is about connecting, resting, recharging. So yeah, this is about connecting with other people and connecting to the divine. And I think this is also about taking a step back and a pause and a breather, and taking a little bit of a break from personal relationships to reconnect with your spiritual self. So he may be consciously feeling like, okay, I've got a lot going on. I feel love for this person that I admire very much, but I also don't want to rush into anything, and I want to take some time to just breathe. You know, maybe they've recently gotten out of a karmic partnership. Maybe they're still in one and are getting out of one. I mean, who knows the situation? Maybe they've just been on a path of really focused on their career. But I think he understands that this union is so unique and so powerful that he doesn't want to make a mistake and rush into it, because he's never been in this path before. He's never been in this type of relationship before. So this is new territory for him. So he's realizing on a conscious level that, okay, I don't want to be too hasty. I don't want to rush. I don't want to make mistakes or do what I've done before. So as he's going through this situation where he's releasing, renewing, balancing, having justice, he's being smart about it consciously. He's aware of the need to take a breath and to not rush into something. So, there we go with that. Now, I want to pull some energy cards too, of the energy. I'd like to pull a card, please, on the energies of the union coming into this portal. Okay. Walking away. So this is the 27 card. This is about nearing completion of a cycle. You know, walking away from what looks to be pretty opulent garden home into this bright, bright, bright future with flowers. And this woman is already walked through the gate and is closing it and is looking back saying, okay, bye. See you later. We're going to walk away from what hasn't served us. And isn't that the theme of this whole portal? So the energy's here, and there's all this beauty and light. It's like blinding, this light. The positivity and joy and beauty on the other side of this fence that's being walked away from. You know, she's not walking away from a shack. I mean, she's walking away from, it looks like a very wealthy mansion. It's with all these gardens here, but she's going into the light to where it's even more beautiful. So, so the energies between them right now is that, you know, both of them, or he or she or both, are walking away from the past and releasing during this portal. Let's walk away from the things that are keeping us from doing our work, that are keeping us bound, that are keeping us down. Let's walk away from all those things. And she's got a big smile on her face, so she's super happy about it. But it's about letting go. And even though something's familiar and pretty, like this home that she's leaving, she's still leaving it because she wants more. And this is where the twins are right now is, you know, they're moving away from things that may not be too bad, but they're not ultimately as fulfilling as they're yearning for. Okay, I'm going to pull another card too for the energies between the twins right now coming into this portal. Appreciation. Yeah, so here we are. Moving away from things that we don't want, getting into the mode of appreciation for what we do have. The 15 is a victory card. And what she's doing here, she's standing in a garden, she's holding a rose. And so roses are ultimately beautiful, but they also have thorns. So the energies between them right now with union are having an appreciation for the prickly thorns that we've been experiencing. We're going to continue to experience maybe even through this portal while we're shedding things. But at the end of the day, there's a beautiful rose here. And you can't have the beautiful rose without having the thorns. You just can't, unless you go to a flower shop that's trimmed the thorns off. But then that's not very real, is it? So, yeah, I think that's the big message here. Is instead of like shunning the journey and being frustrated about the pain and the hard stuff, understand and see the bigger picture and understand the meaning in the suffering or the meaning in the challenge that you're facing, because ultimately you have this beautiful rose here and she's holding it very proudly, like, yeah, I went through the bramble bushes to get this beautiful rose and I survived, and look what I have a beautiful rose. So here you go. So lastly, I'm going to pull a message from Archangel Michael. Excuse me. Michael, what advice do you have for the Divine Masculine for how he can, what he needs to know going into this portal energy? What is a piece of advice, message you have, Michael, for the Divine Masculine going into this 12/12 portal energy? As to how he can best get through this and take advantage of the time and let go of fear now. Love it. It says, please help me feel safe and deserving of your guidance. Thank you for clearing me of heavy, toxic, or ego-based thoughts or feelings. There you go. Michael's telling us that this is what we're doing in this portal. We're letting go of fear. We're letting go of the dense energies that keep us more in the 3D. We're letting go of the things that are fear-based and the ego and things that are physically a lot more dense. And he's got his third eye illuminated here. And he's holding the sword of truth. And there's clarity in the sword. You see the sword here? It's like a crystal clear. It's glowing. And in there is a reflection of him. So he sees himself as the truth. He is the truth. He doesn't even need the sword for any battle because he's not needing to fight. He needs to let go and to surrender. And that's what he's doing here. He's surrendering to his intuition. So that's the advice for the Divine Masculine coming into this portal. And lastly, okay, I'll pull one more. Yeah, I'm going to pull one more. From the Journey of Love cards. One more overall final message, please, for the Divine Masculine. Here coming into the 12/12 portal energies. One message, please, for the Divine Masculine. That's too many. One card, please. All right, these two. Ethereal touch and just for a moment, joy. So, ethereal touch, the 27, is mirroring here. We have the 27. Okay, so this is about being able to connect to that emotional body and understanding that there's communication that happens in the ethereal body. It doesn't have to be just in the physical body. And lastly, just for a moment, joy. Here she is surrendering and opening her arms to the radiance of the divinity, the light coming in, and she's got all this beautiful swirly energy that's just bursting from within. So, as you know, reminder, as you're going through these things, remember to appreciate and enjoy the blessings that are coming as a result of going through this. Okay, so thank you for your like, share, subscribe. It's really my honor to be communicating with you guys and to just have you be part of this journey also with me. I'm here doing this work to help support others that are going through this, because I know it's one of those journeys that is not always easy. So hopefully, if anything that I share with you is helpful and gives you some clarity, then that is my ultimate honor. And if you like a private reading, I certainly can. All the information's in the link down below. So in the meantime, an abundant love always. Bye.